When it comes to the hiring process, large organizations have those who specialize in interviewing and the selection of candidates. They know the right questions to ask and the right attributes for a particular position. But what about us who are part of a small organization, maybe a small business or nonprofit? We may only need to make an employment selection once or twice a year. What should we know? We often take the risk of hiring somebody just to see if they will work out. That can be very costly and a time-consuming decision. During this video, we are going to share some ideas and concepts to be considered during the hiring process. In the book, The World is Flat, Tom Friedman discusses a method of evaluation of potentially new employees. Traditionally, we hire based on experience and knowledge, which we might define as the intelligence quotient, or IQ. But let's consider the curiosity of the individual. Would you want somebody who is always in a learning mode? Have you ever seen somebody who joins a new work group who believes he or she knows it all? They tell you how they did it on their last job. They are less concerned with the reasons you have for doing things the way you do them, and they're really not interested. They never grow into the position or change as a market or the situation changes. This is known as the curiosity factor. What about the candidate's passion or the passion quotient for the work that they do? Are they there just for the paycheck? Are they enthusiastic in a way that rubs off on others and is evident to clients and customers? Do you think they are doing you a favor by just showing up? Friedman suggests that curiosity and passion are more important than intelligence. When you talk to an employer about what they're looking for in a candidate to fill a job, the responses often are the same. They include, they want somebody that shows up every time to work on time every day. No matter how talented or knowledgeable a candidate is, they are no use to a company if they're not present. They want somebody that works well with others. In a team environment, everybody needs to work together. Destructive conflict limits productivity. We want somebody who respects the clients or the customers. These people are not a nuisance. They are at the heart of any company or organization's success. And we want somebody who is a learner. Curious learners can be given increased responsibility and make your life a little easier. But what do we look for? We spend most of our time looking at specific skills and experience. These, of course, cannot be ignored. They are not the only thing to consider. Let's start with what human resources professionals refer to as job description, specification. Now, this is not a job description. A job description describes what people in their job are responsible to do. It's a to-do list. A job specification is a list of attributes a candidate must have in order to be successful in the job. They include, starting with knowledge. Knowledge refers to the factual or procedural information necessary to perform the task. If you're an electrician, you can't be an electrician unless you understand the basics of electricity. If you're a programmer, you can't be a programmer unless you know computer programming. You can't be an engineer unless you have an engineering education. That's the knowledge part. Skills are the level of proficiency at performing a particular task. Does the electrician have to have the ability to wire in a wide range of equipment without supervision? Does the salesperson have a history of exceeding their goals? Or does the engineer have the skills necessary to work without support of direct supervision? Does a healthcare professional need to be with somebody, or can they work on their own? Then we come to abilities, and these are basically capacities. Do you have the capacity to making a speech in front of a group? Or do you have the capacity of writing a good letter? Are those capacities, are those your abilities? And then, of course, there are other things which the candidate must possess and really are the prerogative of the person doing the hiring. What about motivation? What is it that motivates the individual? What is it that motivates them? Are they persistent, or will they give up at the first sign of an obstacle? Now, let me say that there are tools to measure these soft skills, and we could talk about them at a later time, but you don't have to just guess at these things. Where do you go to get people? What are your sources? Where do you find these people, or where do you find the candidates to choose from? Well, we have the traditional ways, which newspaper ads become less popular as newspapers have become less popular. We have the trade magazine ads. Sometimes in the back there'll be an employment section where they're seeking people with specific skills in a specific trade. We have the monster.com or career builders, which are both excellent online tools for recruiting. Then we have professional recruiters that you can go out and hire, who may be necessary if you need to find somebody with a very specific skill or for a high management position. All of these items are expensive, but for a specific position need to be considered. Now, here are some others of lesser cost. Of course, we got Craigslist, which be used to target residents in a specific area, and it's free. LinkedIn has a job posting service, which is worthwhile and costs less than $200 per month for a posting. Not too bad at all. You could put an ad in on Facebook. A very good way of doing it is ask your employees and your friends if they know somebody who might be interested. Referrals are a great source of candidates. They come with a certain credibility because the person making the referral is always going to keep your best interest in mind and the individual who they are referring. So whether you have a job to fill or not, you should always be looking. Talk to people at trade shows and conferences. Talk to people at chamber events. Always be looking, because you never know what the future will bring. One of the things that we've observed is that A players will always hire A players. If you're at the top of your game, you're looking always to work with people who are also at the top of their game. You're not threatened by them. You're motivated by being involved with them. So A players are looking for A players. B players hire C players. B players will never hire A or B players. They find themselves threatened in their position in the organization. They will hire C players because they propose less of a threat. The lesson here is that if you have a B player involved in the selection and hiring process, be aware. I would suggest that you are deeply involved in any final hiring decisions. Hire people who take responsibility for their actions. Everybody makes a mistake. Some take responsibility and learn as a result. Some refuse to take responsibility and refuse to make it a learning experience. Ask people to discuss mistakes made in the past and what they've learned. Hire people who make mistakes of commission, not of omission. Don't you want somebody who will at least try and fail over somebody who won't even try. Now, during the interviewing process, here's some ideas. Always be a good listener. Ask open-ended questions where one person can not answer by saying yes or no. Here's an example. The question I ask is, what did you like most about your last job? The answer might be, I like working with the people who were there. Well, that invites the next question. What did you like most about working with those people? The answer might be, they all pitch in together to get things done. Now you've started a discussion. With using these open-ended questions, you have begun to expose that individual's likes and dislikes. And it's very revealing, and it's more than just a yes or no answer. Shut up. There's a natural tendency to start talking during any minute of silence. Don't avoid jumping in. Get them to do the talking, not you. Discuss their job history and experience. Ask what they liked and disliked about previous jobs. Do you think those likes and dislikes are part of the position for which they are being interviewed? Always ask why they left previous jobs. Were there personality conflict or maybe unrealistic expectations? What is the best job you ever had? This is an open-ended follow-up question, which can lead to more things. Tell me what you liked most or least about your last boss. They may not like a boss at all, but they may not like you either. That's important to understand. Also, beware of the halo effect. The halo effect is one aspect of a candidate's experience or credibility which glows so brightly that outshines everything else. For example, we have an engineer with 12 patents in an area of study which is important to your organization. Don't let those patents outshine the fact that he doesn't work well with others and rejects authority. In the long run, those negative traits will come back to haunt you. Always get someone else involved in the interviewing process and compare notes. If I was playing golf and had to make a putt, I'd look at the putt from different angles. And that's what happens. Different people have different perspectives on the candidates. Get their opinion and compare notes. You may not always go by their judgment, but you certainly will get their ideas. And if you don't have somebody in the organization who can help you do that, I suggest a friend or a spouse. Tell them why it's a great place to work, but don't oversell it. Do a little selling. Tell them about the company's success and how employees receive benefits as a result. Be factual and, again, do not oversell. Explain your expectations. Where do you expect them to be in 3 months and how will they get there? Where do you expect them to be in 6 months and how will they get there? Where do you expect them to be in a year and how will they get there? But please remember, don't only hire based on skills and experience. Consider personality. Write a job description. Use the new media, the internet, etc. for your search. And let them do the talking during the interview. Don't you do the talking. This is a small part of a workshop on this subject that we do on a regular basis. Contact us by phone or email to learn more. Also visit our website, www.plangoals.com. Thank you for listening.